So, what's cooler than a cap and a gown, a business plan, and a bold idea? Welcome to episode 8 of a bigger picture podcast by the Commerce Society of SRCC. Hey guys, I'm Mannat Muchal,
And I am Shreya Kushwaha.
and today we have someone who did exactly that. From the classrooms of SRCC to the global stage of the Columbia University, from working with top companies to becoming a TEDx speaker, entrepreneur, and a LinkedIn creator, Ananya Sachdev has carved her own path. She is the founder of the Uni Discovery, an edtech leader, and a voice of influence in the business world. In this episode, we dive into her journey, the lessons she learned, and the mindset that helped her stand out.
So, hi Nanya, how are you feeling?
Hi Shreya, hi Mannath. I'm feeling very well. Thank you so much for the invite, and I'm really looking forward to chatting with students of the college that I was a part of at one point.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
good to have you.
okay. So now let's start the podcast. So your journey from SRCC to Columbia University and beyond is truly inspiring. SRCC and Columbia are both prestigious institutions, but beyond the reputation, what did they mean to you personally in your growth trajectory? How did your experiences there shape your decision to transition from economics to sports management? And what drove you to take the leap into an MBA straight after undergrad instead of gaining work experience first?
Yeah, that's a great question, and a very loaded question because it has so much to unpack. But maybe let me start with the last question you asked me. What shaped my decision to go right
Yeah.
after undergrad? I was of the opinion that SRCC gave me the exact platform that I needed. Now that I look back a couple of years later, I won't say exactly how many to give my age away, but a couple of years later, all the students that I'm seeing that studied with me, they're doing extremely well in life. We've got, some of the toppers of CBSE, then we've got, people who've done very well on the UPSC front, businesses, gone to the best business schools, launching their own startups. So naturally, even the environment you guys are in, it's absolutely the creme of the creme. But I believe that everybody also needs to challenge themselves beyond their comfort zone. I come from Delhi. I had been living and studying in Delhi all my life. Yes, I had traveled nationally and internationally to play sports, but that was for short stints of time. So, my first and foremost goal was in order to grow, and this is for everybody across the spectrum, in order to grow, you have to challenge yourself out there. And the challenge is, yes, there will be people who will be coming to SRCC from Bangalore, Kolkata, Jaipur, different cities. But the moment you all, as Indians, we all step out, our challenges completely change, even more so, right? Even from not having basic help for basic necessities that we are usually used to in India, or even someone at a mess cooking for us, everything is independent. So I knew that I had to get out of that zone to grow as an individual first. So that was my first and foremost reason, that I didn't want to waste any time for growth. That's why I challenged myself to step out immediately. And secondly, I think everybody should further keep up leveling themselves. You have to be a student for life. So the more you challenge yourself to learn, that will up level yourself, upskill yourself automatically. So after SRCC, what was my next milestone? I was like, what is next? And that next milestone really was, okay, can I make it to an internationally renowned university that can help me take my skills to a professionally the next level? And that's where my move came to go after undergrad. Happy to answer other questions that were part of it.
Yeah, that's truly inspiring. Your insights are truly inspiring. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, you
Thank you.
did say that you always wanted to challenge yourself. So I believe that, graduating from such prestigious colleges, you definitely had an option to go into corporate, but you just still chose to start your entrepreneurial journey. So what was the catalyst in that journey? The main catalyst?
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think that's a great question. And landscape keeps changing every generation now because of the Shark Tank effect. You see even more entrepreneurs come, right? Just we work with students in school and we're helping them launch their entrepreneurial ventures as part of Uni Discovery and Career Discovery that the two companies I run. So I think entrepreneurship has no age or no experience. The experience is doing it itself. Having said that, couple of years back, I first decided to work for a company, but not immediately. I did my master's and then I worked in a company in Japan itself. So I traveled all the way from the US to Tokyo to work in my dream company, which was Rakuten. They used to work with my favorite athletes, and this was a dream for a 23, 24-year-old to be in, that glamour, glitz world of sports and athletes. And I worked there for a bit. And the catalyst to your answer your question was that again, I think what has driven me always has been the fear of being mediocre. Like, am I stuck? Right. And I say this in the humblest way, right? Not because I think anybody who's doing a 9 to 5 is mediocre, not at all. It's a very tough thing to do. And you should not take that for granted. But I said, I think I have the potential to challenge myself and see, can I do something more? So the fear of not trying was the catalyst, the fear of not being mediocre in being stuck where at some point everyone faces saturation. So your role at that point has to be, can I see another company that can help me grow further, or do I go my own route and start my own company? Both are equally tough options. You just have to choose your tough, and then you have to have faith in yourself and stick with it.
That's great to know. I mean, we all want to own something of our own, to have our own visions, to have something that we can like work towards 100%, to own something. So it's definitely inspiring to hear your story.
Really, you are doing great work. So, yeah, you have founded two organizations till now. Both are completely different from each other. So, what motivated you or urged you to transition from a sports management company to launching essentially your own edtech mentorship platform?
Yeah, all great questions. Yeah. So Shreya, I think when it started with Marbrit Sports, which was my first company, I was an athlete. So I was coming from a place of, okay, look, I've done economics now in my undergrad, but I love sports. Why don't I do something with this? I'll mix the business side of economics and I'll mix this passion for sports that I have, and I'll launch Marbrit Sports. Marbridge is my grandmother's name, Sushma, and then Bridge is my grandfather's name. They both passed away in the same year when I was in US studying for my master's due to cancer. In the same year, 2 months apart from each other, my nani and my dada. So, so I wanted to do almost like an ode to them. So that's how Marbridge came together, like a community of sports. That's how it formulated. And I realized, as you grow into business, see the entrepreneurship, no one can teach you. People will watch this podcast. It's great. These are all great learnings, but unless you dive deep into it, you're not learning to launch your own business. So, and you'll fail, right? There's no guarantee, but fail fast. That's what I live by. So you experiment fast, you fail fast. So Marbury Sports came together at the age of 24. I was in Japan. I was working my 9 to 5. And after between 5 to 9 p.m., I used to stay back on, I can say this now, they can't fire me, but I used to stay back on their company, using their electricity and rent and work on Marbrit Sports, right? Brainstorming on whiteboards and things like that. And I managed to crack IIM Bangalore. That was the first university I cracked a partnership with. My company was not even registered. It was just pure passion. And I pitched it to the professors. Then I said, Sir, you have to join me. It's going to be a big thing. We're going to bring you into the sports industry. I am Bangalore meets Marbrit Sports. Big thing. We're going to make the next few sports managers in India. So massive passion run business. Um, Sometimes we made money, sometimes we didn't make money. And I realized as I kept working that, look, a business the passion has to be backed with a market. Is there a market for this? Is there a market for what I'm doing? Is there a solution to a problem, or am I trying to create a problem to the solution? Right? So I realized there was never a problem to solve here. Right? I was just trying to build a solution unnecessarily. And that's where I realized, okay, now let's backtrack and see this is not working out. I have to pivot. I was coming from this beautiful 5 figure, 6 figure salary in Japan, living the life. What am I doing right now? Right? I'll still love sports. It's not going to go away, but I need to run a business. That's my real passion now, right? That's kind of how I pivoted, and I maintained the education side of sports. So I took the sports out of it. I maintained the education and I expanded into actually what people were wanting to make uni discovery, which is discovery of careers, discovery of college applications, discovery of the right pathways, what to do, when to do. Something that I struggled with, right? कुछ नहीं आता तो confused हो तो sports कर लो, confused नहीं हो तो economics में consulting कर लो. But where are my strengths? That's where we now work backwards with students and basically build like a blueprint for them to make sure that they are thriving not just now, but the next 10 years also.
I mean, that's great. Like passion like oozes off you. Like your whole journey is like inspiring to say the least. So as we now come to uni discovery, I would like to like ask, like you obviously founded uni discovery to provide transparent and reliable college counseling, right? So what were
Yeah.
the specific gaps that you notice in the education system that you personally experienced in your application or something like that to like encourage you to start this?
Yeah, that's a really good question again. So first and foremost, I think in India, we lack the ability to question. We're not taught how to ask questions to authorities and seniors,
Hmm.
teachers, principals. We're almost shunned for it. And the first contrasting difference, and this is not a as West versus East comparison, there's a lot of pros that we have here that they don't have. But the one thing I noticed starkly was different was when I was studying in Colombia was that they taught you how to question. Everything was a why behind that, and you could challenge professors. So first and foremost, my understanding was that how can we create systems where we can do early interventions for students so that they learn how to think, not what to think, but how to think, right? How to challenge. That's how questions come from, right? If you don't know how to think, how will you ask? So now when I moved back and when I started building uni discovery, I also realized the challenges I faced. How do I figure out my strengths? So we developed aptitude tests. So now we start from grade 6. We have aptitude tests for every grade design. Then we work backwards and design customized mentorship programs for each of these students, all the way till their mid 20s. So, right, when even you guys graduate, I'm happy to have you guys on Uni
We
Discovery. And
happy to.
if you don't seem like you guys are confused at all, but even if you're not, building like a customized plan for y'all and then figuring out, okay, how can we help you not just ideate, but also help you, support you, handhold you up. Our students, we connect them to professors across IIMs, across Columbia, across Yale, across NUS in Singapore, to come together, guide these guys. We've helped people build their own sort of podcasts, much like you guys are doing. Pitch themselves as competitions. So basically, like really build a holistic plan so that tomorrow, if your school is not supporting you or your college is not supporting you, you have an online school or an online college that can really help you grow outside of your academics as well. So that's really what we're doing right now. And of course, now our end goal is to get students into the top universities across the world. So we're happy that we're moving in that direction.
That sounds amazing. So were there any roadblocks in the way?
Yeah, I mean, loads of roadblocks. Roadblocks are a part and parcel of building a business. There are some things that you obviously know that the obvious things that happen. Then there are some non-obvious things that you can never predict. And every business challenges are unique. Service businesses, of course, you never know, right? Like today, I'm my own business owner. I have a team of people, of course, that I manage and we employ. But ultimately you are the representative, so you cannot assume that people will treat this as their baby. Your baby is your baby. It's like you have a newborn in the house and your relatives will come and play with the newborn, and ultimately you're doing the hard work, right? So you're the heavy lifting. So you have to be there. Of course, you have to employ good people. The challenges are finding people, the right people to hire, who will still consider this like nahi ye apna company hai, we have to treat this like ours. If she is not there, if she's doing this podcast, nothing should fall behind. So think people hiring is really important. I think people make organizations, and that's about it. You have to also entrust people, and this comes from after a very long time. How do you give people the liberty to lead, right? Whoever joins us, whether they're interns, whether they're senior professionals, we give them the liberty to lead, right? And I train them. I work with them very intimately. They're like literally sitting next to me, and we're talking, we're chatting, we're brainstorming, and properly building this out. Um, Other challenges, obviously, capital. I'm bootstrapping the company. We're touchwood profitable, and now we're employing people. We're growing as a company. We're shifting offices. But capital is always like, how do you resource allocate, right? When you're tightly on a budget, you're not raising any money, and that's very consciously something that we decided to do initially, at least. The not challenges you don't see or no one tells you is it's a service business, so people can write you at 2 a.m. in the night, right? And costs don't expect you to respond. But ultimately, you're always the business owner, you're always stressed, right? No, don't worry, we're there, we're responding. Like, these challenges are hard to predict, but they come, right? And sometimes you just have to go with the flow. Ultimately, the baseline of any business is, I personally think every business is a hospitality business first, and then it's the business itself. So customer experience is the most important thing. If you just give a good customer experience to people, whether things happen or not don't happen, that customer experience stays with you for the longest time. Today, if I speak nicely to you, you'll remember me. Even if this podcast doesn't go out, I'll remember you guys. So, because you're speaking, you're smiling, you're sweet. So I think the customer experience is really important. That's despite all the challenges, that's the one core focus area you should always maintain.
Yeah, I truly believe.
Really, yeah, really, you explained amazingly. So, like everyone has faced setbacks. So, like being athletes and entrepreneur, you have also faced setbacks, like losing a game, facing a venture, or dealing with unexpected challenges. So, has your experience as a basketball player helped you to develop the resilience needed to navigate your entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought basketball up because I mean, I obviously, I love sports.
Yeah.
And basketball I started playing in grade two. So for me, grade two to college, which was I used to also be part of the SRCC team, then played for Delhi, played juniors in India, all of that. So 20 years so of my life were kind of dedicated to basketball wholeheartedly. Um, I think, and I used to have these discussions in the US as well because I used to be in the industry, and they used to always talk about, hey, I think people make better leaders when they play sports because you get so used to you get sports is like life taking place in that 40 minutes or 90 minutes for however long the game lasts, depending on your sport. You have team issues, you are dealing with people, you're managing their egos, you're managing stress and anxiety. You could have a game biting finish, so almost you have injuries, so people get substituted, just like life, right? It's like life taking place in 40 minutes. So it teaches you a lot about, it's like a stimulator. So you just have to project that experience into life and saying, okay, I faced this before. I had this really nasty teammate and they troubled me. This is how I dealt with them. Now this is how I'm going to deal with my colleague. Right? I had no nasty teammates in case they watch this. Just letting you guys know, just an example. But so that's, yeah, I think it does help. Absolutely. And I encourage everybody to play sports. I think thanks to all our athletes, Olympics and international athletes coming from India, we've changed the wave back to people going back to the fields and playing. So I'm really glad that that wave is back where, we're getting out of our house and playing, because I encourage that at all levels. Whenever you can pick up a racket, pick up a ball and start playing, it just helps you so much, even with mental health.
That's
So,
great.
yeah, we are talking about basketball. So, have you remembered last time when you played basketball?
It's been so long. You should not have brought it up because I feel guilt almost. I have 3 WhatsApp groups with basketball games right now being planned, and I'm not able to make it to eat any one of them. But I eventually I will. It'll be a fun time. I was watching some highlights also of the NBA, because the games happen in the morning at 5 a.m. So I'm not waking up at that time to watch. I think those days are past me,
Yeah,
but I
those.
used to do that. I used to do that diligently. But yeah, did you as well? Did you, Manat, you reacted? So I'm assuming you watched a lot of.
I've never watched NBAs, but yeah, I've played basketball. I've also left it, but I've also played basketball till district level. So it's
Oh,
great.
nice.
Uh,
Nice. I'm glad to hear that. But yeah, I will get back, Shreya. Thank you for the reminder. I will play soon.
Okay.
So, Ananya, you've already accomplished so much. We've already talked about your whole journey. But I'm sure there's always something new that you're up to. So, what's the next big project for you? Any exciting projects or ventures that you're currently working about or like feeling particularly passionate about?
Yeah, so I don't know how much I'm allowed to reveal, but I mean, we are working on another sort of shoulder company which will facilitate students to incubate their ideas. So we're trying to launch some sort of career labs offline and online for students. We're also working very closely with very senior authorities in India to come up with competitions for students to train them, train their skills, train their thinking and speaking skills. So we have these few things in the pipeline. And of course, with Uni Discovery, it's never ending. It's, trying to build them holistically and trying to get them to top colleges across the world.
That's exciting to know.
And
We'll
I am creating some pickleball content as well, so that might be out soon.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the new release.
Looking forward to it. So before like getting to the little informal part, the last question I would like to ask you would definitely be some advice. Life advice, college advice, what you learned from your journey, anything that you want to speak about.
Yeah. Okay, first thing that comes to my mind is, guys, just of course, I'm sure you're doing this, but network as much as possible. You're in one of the best colleges in the world, not only India. So I would suggest that, you go out there, you speak to people. I think that's something I did less, at least till SRCC. So I would encourage that highly. DU has a lot of opportunities, and these are people you'll see, students who get out, and 5, 10 years later, you'll be hearing their names, and you will be one of them as well. But having that network also with you will, really push you further to do better. So I would highly suggest to network, meet people. Professors are amazing. Network with them. Secondly, try to look for research opportunities, because especially if any of you try to go for your master's or MBA after, research is going to be a very important component of what at least top colleges in the US look for. So I think, irrespective of whether you're science or not, research is not only restricted to that field. So go out there, speak to professors, try to do literature reviews, research under them. And third, take care of your health, enjoy all opportunities, fests that you get as part of SRCC, or part of DU. These things don't come back today. Obviously I had to go to college, and I kind of saw campus again and realized it just hit me that it's been a very long time. And those new moments where you can sometimes even relax, and under the sun, on campus, those things will, at the co-op or wherever, those things, will be hard to come by later. You'll have other opportunities, sure, later in life, but that particular moment probably won't be there. So make sure you capitalize on that. Just live in the moment, basically. Very cliche, I know, but try to live in that moment.
So yeah, let's
Okay.
come to our informal part then.
Let's go.
Yeah, so Ananya, before we wrap up, we have a fun rapid fire round for you. Quick questions and quick answers. So yeah, late night hustle or early morning grind?
Oh God. Early morning grind.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so if your life was a movie, what would be the title?
She lived, she conquered.
Crazy.
That's great.
Such a good title.
Yeah. Okay. So if you could have lunch with any entrepreneur, who would it be?
Ooh, that's a really good one. I really like Anupam Mittal from Shark Tank. I mean, Anupam Mittal, Shari.com, Piyush Bansal. I'm only naming a lot of these. Also, Arindam Chatterjee, who started IIPM. It's an institute. I really like people in the education space, and I think they do a noble job. And he started an institute on his own. So him as well.
Okay. So what's your power song before a big pitch?
I like listening to a lot of Punjabi songs, so probably any Punjabi song.
Yeah, it's a vibe.
Yeah,
Totally
exactly.
power
Yeah.
you up,
I like Punjabi songs too, yeah.
all on
Okay.
the same.
So if your startup has a mascot, what it would be?
Hmm. I think it'll be a I would say it'll probably be like a Royal Bengal tiger. Our colors are orange and white, so I'll probably want to have something like that, like rare,
Very
but
creative
but but
one.
royal. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
great.
So, biggest myth about being an entrepreneur?
That it's you're your own boss. You're not your own boss. You're at the beck and call of your clients, your students, your uh employees. So don't be under that assumption that life's gonna be easy.
That
Yeah, amazing.
So that brings us to the end of the episode. Thank you so much, Anushka and Ananya, for. Can we do that again? I'm so sorry. And that brings
Go
us to
for
the
it.
end of the episode. Ananya, thank you so much for taking out your time. We had such an insightful conversation. For the ending, I would just like to say that if there's one thing that you would take away, is that taking risks and following your gut can lead to some pretty amazing places. So we should dream big, take chances, and who knows, you might be the next success story we talk about. That's crazy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ananya.
Thank you, everyone. You all are doing a great job, and I look forward to speaking and interacting more. Thank you.
Thank you so much.